I pause outside the private dining room of the Cypress Room, my fingers tightening around the carefully wrapped box in my hand. Through the frosted glass, I catch glimpses of my family already seated at the long table. The soft clink of expensive crystal carries through the door as a server pours wine. 8 years. 8 years of answering every call, solving every crisis, emptying my accounts at their slightest need. Tonight is about showing them that all those sacrifices were worth it, that I'm worth it. I smooth down my black dress, take a deep breath, and push open the door. My mother, Eleonora, sits regally at one end of the table, her critical gaze landing on me immediately. Her lips purse slightly as she assesses my appearance, looking for flaws to point out later. Next to her, my older brother Preston smirks into his wine glass, the same superior expression he's worn since we were children. My younger brother Spencer looks up from his phone, his face arranging itself into an expression of delight that doesn't quite reach his eyes. Camille! Finally decided to show up. Only my father brightens genuinely at my arrival. Harrison Collins stands, arms outstretched, his smile widening as he spots the gift in my hands. There's my girl, he says warmly. I make my way around the table, nodding to the others before reaching my father. Happy birthday, Dad. His embrace is tight, sincere. For a moment, I believe that this dinner might be different. That tonight, finally, all my efforts will be recognized. That I'll be seen as more than just their personal ATM. I hand him the wrapped box. This is for you. You didn't have to get me anything, Cammy, he says, but his eyes light up. I slide into the only empty chair at the head of the table opposite my mother, isolated. A chill runs through me. Even our seating arrangement makes it clear. I'm not really part of their unit. The server appears at my elbow. Would you like to start with something to drink, miss? Yes, I'll have. She'll have the house white. My mother interrupts smoothly. Camille never could tell the difference between wines. I force a smile. Actually, I'll have the Cabernet. The 2018 vintage, please. Eleonora's smile tightens. Must be nice to have disposable income without real responsibilities like children. The familiar knot forms in my stomach. I've been at this table less than 5 minutes. I'd like to order a second appetizer for the table, I say, deliberately changing the subject. Preston rolls his eyes. Of course you would, always showing off. I think back to my first bonus as an investment analyst. I was 22, fresh out of college, proud of myself for landing a position at a prestigious firm. That $10,000 was meant to start my investment portfolio, a step toward financial security. Then came the hysterical call from my mother. The bank is foreclosing, Camille. We'll lose the house. Your father is too proud to ask, but we need help. The relief I felt after wiring the entire bonus to them was immediate. Their gratitude seemed genuine. I was the hero, the responsible one, the fixer. Julian saw through it before I did. They're using you, Cam. He said one night after I canceled our anniversary dinner to bail Preston out of another financial mess. This pattern won't stop until you make it stop. I dismissed his concerns. Family comes first, I told myself. 3 months later, he was gone. Back in the present, Spencer is regaling everyone with a story about his latest girlfriend. She's absolutely crazy about me, he says, winking at me. Some people just get it, you know? Speaking of getting it, Preston interjects. Did Dad tell you about my new investment opportunity? It's going to be huge. I notice they're both drinking the expensive Cabernet I ordered. Preston takes a long, deliberate sip while maintaining eye contact with me, knowing full well I'm covering the bill. The dinner progresses to the gift exchange. Preston presents Dad with a set of generic grilling tools still in the plastic store packaging. Perfect for those Sunday cookouts, he says proudly, as if he's given something extraordinary. Spencer's gift is predictably narcissistic, a framed photo of himself with Dad at a baseball game last year. A game I wasn't invited to. To remember our special day, Spencer says, eyes wide with manufactured innocence. When Dad unwraps my gift, the vintage 1,950 seconds, Hamilton watch, I spent months hunting down, the room goes silent. It's beautiful, its silver case gleaming under the restaurant lights, the leather strap supple and rich. Camille, my father whispers, eyes welling. This is too much. I feel a flush of pride, followed immediately by a chill as I notice my mother's face hardening, resentment etching itself deeper into the lines around her mouth. Well, Eleonora says, a cruel smile playing on her lips, I suppose when you don't have a husband or family of your own to support, you can afford to buy whatever you want. The table goes silent. That's not fair, Mom, I say, my voice shaking. Not fair? She laughs lightly, the sound brittle. What's not fair is how you flaunt your money. You use it to make us feel small. You're trying to buy your father's love. I paid for his surgery. The words burst out before I can stop them. I'm paying for this entire dinner. There it is. Eleonora's voice rises. Always keeping score. You want to know the truth? You're pathetic. You're a lonely, bitter woman. And you want to know why? You're not even part of this family. I turn desperately to Preston, silently pleading for support, for some acknowledgement of the unfairness unfolding. He deliberately looks away, smirking as he sips the $120 Cabernet I'm paying for. And suddenly, with perfect clarity, I see the truth. This pattern will never end. The crises will keep coming. The demands will never stop. The goalposts will always move. I'm not family. I'm their bank. And banks, I realize with a strange calm settling over me, have the power to foreclose. I leave the cypress room with my head high, despite the trembling in my hands. The maitre d' nods sympathetically as I approach the payment desk, her eyes darting toward the private dining room, where my family's voices still carry. Is everything all right, Miss Collins? She asks, already pulling up the reservation details on her screen. Perfect, I say, forcing calm into my voice. I'd like to make a change to the payment arrangement. I pull 2 crisp $100 bills from my wallet, sliding them across the counter to the server who's appeared beside us. Please charge my meal and Mr. Harrison Collins' meal to my card. My voice drops to ensure privacy. The remaining bill for 6 guests. Please deliver it directly to Mrs. Eleanora Collins. The server's eyes widen slightly, but she nods, tucking the cash into her apron pocket. Absolutely, Miss Collins. Is there anything else? That's all. I feel a strange lightness as I turn toward the exit. Please wait until I've left to deliver the final bill. Outside, the night air feels electric against my skin. My phone buzzes repeatedly in my purse before I even reach my car. 6 missed calls. All from Eleonora. I start the engine but don't drive immediately. My fingers hover over the screen, about to silence the calls when a text notification appears. It's not from my mother or brothers, it's from my cousin Alicia. Did you see what they were saying about you in the family group chat? Family group chat? I stare at the screen. What family group chat? Alicia's follow-up text contains screenshots. The timestamp shows messages from 3 hours before tonight's dinner. Preston. Camille booked the private room at the Cypress Room. Spencer. Awesome. She just got that promotion. Time to launder the bonus. Hope she gets the good steak. I feel the blood drain from my face, but I force myself to keep scrolling. Eleonora. Boys, be nice. Your sister is just trying. 3 simple dots after just, that somehow contain all the dismissal, all the condescension I've felt for years. They planned this. They coordinated their attack, calculated how to extract maximum benefit while making me feel small. My mother. My own mother. The phone buzzes again. A voicemail. 7 now. I pull out of the restaurant parking lot, driving mindlessly until I reach my apartment building. The familiar quiet of my modest studio welcomes me, but tonight it feels different. Not lonely, peaceful. And I pour a glass of wine and finally press play on the first voicemail. How dare you embarrass me like that? Eleonora's voice fills the room, vibrating with rage. After everything I have done for you, ungrateful, selfish. I delete the message before she can finish, then the next, and the next, each one more venomous than the last, not a single apology among them. When I reach the end, I do something I've never done before. I block her number. The silence that follows feels momentous, sacred, almost. I open my laptop and navigate to my favorite travel site. 10 minutes later, I've booked a flight to Italy. 10 days in Tuscany, the trip I've dreamed about since college but always put off because family emergencies took precedence. With Eleonora's voice silenced, my mind suddenly turns razor sharp. I pull out my financial records, spreading them across my kitchen table. The evidence of my exploitation laid bare in black and white. $30,000 from my $401k for Dad's emergency spinal surgery 3 years ago. The same surgery his insurance would have covered if they'd paid their premiums instead of taking that Alaskan cruise. $15,000 for back due property taxes on a house I don't even live in. $10,000 loaned to Preston's doomed business venture that he never mentioned again. Thousands more for car repairs, utility bills, Spencer's textbooks for degrees he never finished. I do the calculations twice. My retirement has been set back 5 years. 5 years I'll never get back. But the financial loss pales in comparison to the emotional manipulation. The canceled dates with Julian, the missed promotions because I was too distracted by family drama to focus on my career. The perpetual anxiety that came with every phone call, wondering what crisis awaited me this time. The next morning, I sit in Dr. Annabelle Croft's office, my hands clasped tightly in my lap. I'm free, I say, the words feeling foreign on my tongue. So why do I feel this crushing guilt? This emptiness? I don't know who I am if I'm not their problem solver. Dr. Croft studies me over her glasses. Because problem solver was a role you played. It gave you a purpose, but it wasn't you. Our job is to find out who Camille actually is. My phone lights up with a text. Julian, heard about what happened at the restaurant. Are you okay? I smile, appreciating his concern, but not ready to respond yet. That evening, Spencer launches his counterattack. An email notification appears on my phone. Spencer Collins has tagged you in a GoFundMe campaign. Family betrayed by narcissist sister, the title reads. The description paints me as a villain who abandoned her family in their time of need. I report it for fraud within minutes. By midnight, the page is gone. An anonymous email arrives shortly after from Spencer's personal account. You're a monster. You won't help. And now you actively sabotage us? You'll regret this. I read it twice, waiting for the familiar panic to set in. The guilt, the desperate need to fix things. It doesn't come. Instead, something hardens within me, clarifies. The threat has the opposite effect they intended. It solidifies my resolve. That night, I sleep without dreaming for the first time in years. No anxiety jolting me awake at 3 a.m. No checking my phone for missed emergency calls. Just peace. And the knowledge that tomorrow, I begin building a life that's truly mine. 2 days later, I stare at my phone, scrolling through Eleonora's latest Facebook post. A black and white photo of her gazing wistfully out a window, captioned, The deepest wounds come from those we love most. How can an ungrateful child abandon the very family who sacrificed everything for them? Broken heart. Family first. The comments section overflows with sympathy. Old family friends, distant relatives, even my third-grade teacher offering prayers and support. My stomach twists as I read Mrs. Peterson's response. Sending love, Eleonora. Some children forget where they came from. I set down my phone and take a deep breath, Dr. Croft's voice echoing in my mind. This is exactly what we discussed. Public shame as a control mechanism. The landline rings, the one number I haven't blocked. 4 rings before I answer. 3 of your mother's friends called me today, Julian says without preamble. Apparently I'm dating a monster who abandoned her poor family. I'm sorry, I whisper. Don't be. I told them all to go to hell. His voice softens. How are you holding up? Before I can answer, my work line buzzes. I have to go, I tell Julian. Work emergency. But it isn't work. It's Marianne from reception, her voice tight with discomfort. Camille, your brother Spencer is in the lobby. He doesn't have an appointment, but he's insisting on seeing you. Says it's a family emergency. Ice floods my veins. Tell him I'm in a meeting. I'll call him later. I did, but he said he'll wait all day if necessary. I peer through the glass walls of my office toward the elevator bank. Sure enough, Spencer lounges against the reception desk, charming smile firmly in place as he chats with Marianne's assistant. My hands shake as I gather my laptop and files. There's a back stairwell that leads to the parking garage. I've never used it before today. Later that evening, a cream-colored envelope arrives in my mailbox. I recognize Eleonora's flowing handwriting immediately. For a moment, I consider throwing it away unopened. Instead, I carry it inside, setting it on the kitchen counter while I pour a glass of wine. The letter is 5 pages long, handwritten on Eleonora's monogram stationery. My dearest daughter. It begins. After much reflection and several sessions with my spiritual counselor, I've come to understand how my own deep-seated insecurities may have contributed to our current situation. Growing up with a critical mother myself, I now see how I might have unintentionally repeated those patterns. I read each carefully crafted word, noting how she manages to sound remorseful without actually apologizing for anything specific. The letter winds through childhood memories, philosophical musings about mother-daughter relationships, and vague references to healing our bond. It's the postscript, hastily added in different ink, that reveals the truth. P.S. Your father misses you terribly, and the property tax bill is due next month. I don't tear the letter. I don't crumple it. Instead, I walk calmly to my desk, retrieve the scissors, and methodically cut it into precise, tiny squares. The confetti rains into my trash can, surprisingly satisfying. The next morning, I make 3 phone calls. First, to my bank, setting up an automatic transfer of $500 monthly into my depleted retirement account. Second, to Rachel, one of the few friends who bridges my family world and personal life. I need to ask you something important. I tell her, I need you to agree not to discuss my family with me. No updates, no messages from them, no well-meaning attempts to reconcile us. Her pause speaks volumes. They've been calling you, haven't they? Everyone except Dad, I confirm. Consider it done, she says finally. Your family is now a forbidden topic. The third call is to register for pottery classes, something I've wanted to try since college but never had time for between family emergencies. That evening, my phone lights up with Dad's name. I almost don't answer. Almost. Cammy? His voice sounds older, tired. Hi, Dad. I miss you. 3 simple words that cut deeper than Eleonora's 5-page letter. I close my eyes, fighting back tears. I miss you too, Dad, but I cannot come back. Not as long as you choose to stay there. We're a family, Cam. Family sticks together, through thick and thin. Is that what happened at my birthday dinner for you? When Mom said those things to me, did family stick together then? The silence stretches between us. I can hear him breathing, the slight wheeze from his left lung that never quite healed after the pneumonia 3 years ago. Another crisis I'd managed. Another hospital bill I'd covered. I heard what she said, he admits finally, his voice small. I should have stopped her. But you didn't. No, I didn't. The truth hangs between us, painful but necessary. I love you, Dad, I say, meaning it. But I won't be your human sacrifice anymore. After we hang up, I curl into a ball on my couch, allowing myself exactly 10 minutes to cry. Then I wash my face, change into clean clothes, and head out to meet Julian for coffee. The cafe is busy, sun streaming through large windows. Julian waves from a corner table, 2 mugs already waiting. No romantic expectations, just the comfort of someone who knows the whole truth. You look better, he says, studying my face. Less hunted. I smile, realizing he's right. I feel lighter. I should have done more, Julian says suddenly, eyes serious. I'm sorry I left instead of helping you see what was happening. That was the easy way out. You tried, I remind him. I wasn't ready to listen. The property tax deadline comes and goes. I mark it on my calendar with a small red X, preparing for the onslaught. It arrives precisely 3 days later, when Preston's name flashes on my phone screen. I answer, setting him on speaker while I continue preparing dinner. They might lose the house because of you. His voice booms through my kitchen, familiar in its righteous anger. I sprinkle salt over the chicken breast sizzling in my pan. No, they might lose the house because they didn't pay their taxes. There's a difference. How can you be so cold, after everything they've done for you? What exactly have they done for me, Preston? I flip the chicken, admiring the golden crust. Name 3 things. His sputtering fills the silence. That's what I thought, I say, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. Goodbye, Preston. I hang up, waiting for the familiar wave of guilt to crash over me. It doesn't come. Instead, I open my laptop and create a new spreadsheet. Column A, date. Column B, emergency description. Column C, amount. I begin with the first major withdrawal, my initial bonus at 22, and work forward methodically. By midnight, I've documented $73,450 in loans and gifts over 8 years. Next to this spreadsheet, I open my calendar, marking every vacation, date, and personal event, cancelled for family emergencies. The pattern is stark, undeniable. Not a single important moment in my life remained untouched by their needs. 2 weeks later, I board a plane to Italy, a trip I've dreamed of since college. The photos show a woman I barely recognize smiling genuinely, shoulders relaxed, eyes clear. In one, taken at a small cafe in Florence, I'm laughing, head thrown back, completely present in the moment. Doctor. Croft smiles when I show her the pictures during our session. That's what freedom looks like, Camille. The holiday season approaches. For the first time in my adult life, I decline Eleonora's formal Thanksgiving invitation. Instead, I host a small gathering of friends in my apartment. No family drama, no walking on eggshells, no calculating the emotional cost of each interaction. 1 year after the restaurant confrontation, I'm reviewing quarterly projections when my phone buzzes with a text. Spencer's name appears on the screen. We need to talk. It's about Dad. My heart stutters, old patterns trying to reassert themselves. Call immediately. Drop everything. Fix it. I set the phone down and continue working for exactly 30 minutes, completing my task before picking it up again. The message waits, demanding a response. My finger hovers over the screen as I make a decision. A week later, the cafe bustles with mid-morning energy, the hiss of espresso machines, clinking cups, and murmured conversations creating the perfect public backdrop. I chose this place deliberately. Open space. Witnesses. No chance of being cornered. I check my watch, a practical stainless steel timepiece, nothing like the vintage Hamilton I gave Dad last year. 2 minutes until Spencer arrives. I pull out my phone, open the recording app, and press start. The screen confirms, recording hey shown. I slip it back into my purse, making sure the microphone isn't obstructed. You okay? I look up to find Julian at the next table, his laptop open but his attention on me. He'd arrived 15 minutes before me, settling in as if he were just another remote worker needing caffeine and Wi-Fi. I'm fine, I say, surprised by how true it feels. Just ready to get this over with. Julian nods, then returns to his screen, maintaining the illusion of separate customers who don't know each other. The weight of his presence steadies me. The door chimes. Spencer walks in, scanning the cafe until he spots me. He's dressed better than usual, crisp button-down, pressed khakis, the uniform of responsibility. He's come prepared. So have I, Camille. His voice carries the precise note of controlled concern as he slides into the chair across from me. Thank you for meeting me. I have 30 minutes, I say, tapping my watch. I need to be back at work for a conference call. Spencer's mouth twitches, annoyance quickly masked with practiced sympathy. He reaches into his messenger bag and pulls out a manila envelope. I brought some things you need to see. He extracts several photographs, laying them on the table between us like playing cards. Dad, looking thin and pale, sitting in his favorite recliner. Dad at what appears to be a doctor's office, shoulders slumped. Dad asleep in a hospital bed, an IV in his arm. Something cold washes through me. When were these taken? Over the last few months. Spencer leans forward, voice dropping. He hasn't been the same since you abandoned us, Camille. The word abandoned lands like a slap. He barely eats, hardly sleeps. The doctors say his blood pressure is dangerously high. I force myself to breathe evenly, to study the photos with analytical distance, rather than the panicked guilt bubbling up inside me. What exactly is wrong with him? His spine. Spencer shakes his head sadly. Remember that surgery you helped with before? There are complications. He needs another procedure. The implication hangs in the air, unspoken but clear. This is your fault. You left, and now Dad is suffering. Doctor. Croft's voice echoes in my head. Notice when they're using your father as emotional leverage. They know he's your weak spot. I'm sorry to hear he's unwell, I say, keeping my voice steady. Which hospital is he being treated at? Spencer blinks. County General. And his doctor's name? Dr. Wilson. The answer comes too quickly. Neurosurgeon or orthopedic specialist? Spencer's eyes narrow. What difference does it make? It makes a difference because I'd like to speak directly with his doctor. I pull out my phone. If you give me Dr. Wilson's contact information, I can call right now to discuss Dad's treatment plan. Spencer shifts in his seat. You can't just call his doctor. There are privacy laws. Dad can authorize it. Let's call him right now and ask. He's resting, Spencer says sharply. The medication makes him drowsy. I take a sip of my cooling coffee, using the moment to steady myself. Spencer's tells are obvious now, the finger tapping, the rapid blinking when he's fabricating details. I care about Dad's health, I say carefully. But I won't be manipulated, Spencer. His expression darkens. You sound just like that therapist of yours. Has she convinced you that your own family is manipulating you? He leans forward. What kind of daughter abandons her father when he needs her most? Mom was right about you. You've always been selfish. The words echo Eleanora's exact phrasing from countless arguments. In the past, I would have spiraled into defensive explanations, desperate to prove I wasn't the villain they painted me to be. Not anymore. I understand that's your perspective, I say. Spencer stares at me, waiting for the usual frantic justifications. When they don't come, confusion flickers across his face. Look, he says, voice hardening. This isn't a debate. Either help with Dad's surgery or don't pretend to care about him. I've offered to speak directly with his doctor. I've offered to call Dad right now. If he truly needs another surgery, I want to hear the details from medical professionals, not through you. Spencer's face flushes red. You don't trust me? Your own brother? I trust medical professionals to explain medical conditions. Fine. He throws up his hands. Call Dad. But Mom already told him you'd pay for everything. The slip hangs in the air between us. Spencer freezes, realizing what he's revealed. So Dad doesn't actually know you're asking me for money, I say quietly. Spencer's voice rises. Don't twist my words. Dad knows he needs surgery. Mom was just trying to spare him the stress of financial worries. Heads turn at nearby tables. A woman with gray hair glances over, her expression concerned. You've always had it easy, Camille. Spencer continues, louder now. Your fancy job, your wealth, while the rest of us struggle. And now you won't even help our father? I keep my voice even, soft. Spencer, we're in a public place. Let's keep this conversation civil. Civil? There's nothing civil about abandoning your family. He slams his hand on the table, rattling our cups. The cafe grows quiet. The server approaches our table, her expression professional but firm. Sir, I need to ask you to lower your voice or take this conversation elsewhere. Spencer turns on her. This is a private matter. Not when it's disturbing our other customers. The server stands her ground. Do I need to ask you to leave? Spencer looks around, suddenly aware of the attention he's drawn. Every eye in the cafe watches him, not with the sympathy he expected, but with disapproval. Julian stands and moves to my table, saying nothing, simply positioning himself behind my chair. My phone chimes with a text message. I glance down to see Julian's name. Everything okay? Need backup? Before I can respond, another text arrives from my office. Take all the time you need. We've got your presentation covered. Dr. Croft says she can see you at 2 p.m. if needed. A web of support surrounds me now, invisible to Spencer but strong enough to hold me steady. I pick up my phone and dial Dad's number, holding Spencer's gaze as it rings. Hello? Dad's voice sounds alert, confused by the unexpected call. Dad? It's me, Camille. Cammy? Surprise brightens his tone. Spencer said you were too busy to talk to me these days. Spencer reaches for my phone. I turn away, protecting the connection. How are you feeling, Dad? Spencer showed me some pictures. He says you need another surgery. Surgery? Dad sounds genuinely confused. No. The doctor just changed my blood pressure medication last month. It's working well. No surgery needed. Spencer stands abruptly, face pale. I have to go. As he gathers his things, I notice his phone screen lighting up with notifications. Even upside down, I can make out Eleanora's name, followed by, did she agree? How much? F. Dad, I say calmly. Would it be okay if I spoke with your doctor? I'd like to understand your current treatment plan. Of course, sweetheart. Dr. Martinez. Not Wilson. Don't know where Spencer got that name, she's excellent. I'll call her office and let them know you might contact them. Spencer storms toward the door just as my phone pings again, Preston calling. I decline it, watching my younger brother flee the cafe. already pressing his own phone to his ear. The family that once seemed so united against me is fracturing before my eyes. Dad, I say, feeling something shift inside me. There's something we need to talk about. The phone rings as I'm sorting through quarterly investment reports. Harrison's name flashes on the screen, and I pause, feeling the familiar tug of obligation. It's been 3 weeks since the cafe incident with Spencer. 3 weeks of relative quiet. Dad, I answer, keeping my voice even. Cammy. His voice is warm but cautious. How are you, sweetheart? I'm good. Busy with work. I tap my pen against the desk calendar, already sensing what's coming. Listen, I've been thinking. Harrison clears his throat. What if we had a family dinner next week? Just to talk things through. Eleonora promises to apologize. The old Camille would have immediately rearranged her schedule, grateful for any crumb of reconciliation. But as I sit in my office, surrounded by the life I've built, I recognize the trap. I love you, Dad, I say softly, but I can't. An apology under pressure isn't real. I'm not ready to put myself in that position again. The silence stretches between us. I can practically hear him deflating. She's really trying, Cammy. Is she? Or is she just trying to get things back to the way they were? Another long pause. I miss you. I miss you too. But this isn't about punishing anyone. It's about protecting myself. When we hang up, the old guilt surfaces, that nagging voice questioning whether I'm being selfish, whether family loyalty should trump everything else. I open my desk drawer, pulling out the therapy journal Dr. Croft suggested. Beneath the guilt, I identify something new: resolve. Thanksgiving arrives with a flurry of social media posts about gratitude and family togetherness. The Collins family invitation sits in my email, untouched. Instead, I spend the day with Julian and his new partner, Michael. We cook together in Julian's apartment, laughing over burned rolls and slightly undercooked stuffing. To freedom, Julian toasts, raising his glass with a knowing smile. Later that night, scrolling through Instagram, I see Eleonora's perfectly staged family photo, Harrison, looking uncomfortable in a sweater I'd never seen before. Preston and Spencer flanking him, their smiles tight. The caption reads, "So sad when a family is broken apart by selfishness. We miss those who should be here." Just months ago, this would have sent me spiraling into guilt and shame. Tonight, I just feel sad confirmation of my mother's victim complex. I close the app and sleep soundly. The call from Beatrice comes out of nowhere on a Tuesday morning in December. Preston's wife rarely contacts me directly. "Camille?" Her voice is thick with tears. "I'm sorry to bother you, but I didn't know who else to call." I step away from my desk, moving to the privacy of the stairwell. "What's wrong?" "It's Preston. He's been lying to me." Her words tumble out between sobs. "He just admitted he's $10,000 in debt to you from a failed investment, and now he's demanding I sell my car to cover new debts. He keeps blaming you for cutting him off and ruining his finances." The revelation doesn't surprise me. Preston had always lived beyond his means, confident that someone, usually me, would bail him out. "Beatrice," I say, keeping my voice calm and measured. "I am truly sorry you're in this position, but that is between you and Preston. I'm not involved. But if you could just help us—" "No," the word comes easily now. "I can't fix this for you. Preston needs to face his own financial choices." After we hang up, I sit on the stairs, processing. The family is turning on each other now that their ATM is closed. It's both vindication and sadness rolled into one. Back at my desk, an email from Maria in senior management waits. "Camille, can we meet to discuss the Harrington acquisition? We're considering you for project lead." The opportunity is exactly what I've been working toward: a major promotion with significant responsibility, and higher pay, and longer hours. My hand hovers over the keyboard. The old Camille script plays in my head. I can't. I need to be available for emergencies. That evening in Dr. Croft's office, I pace by the window. "What's holding you back?" she asks, watching me with that penetrating gaze. I've always been the one they could count on. What if someone needs me and I'm stuck in meetings? Dr. Croft leans forward. "Whose emergency are you actually afraid of missing? Is it your family's, or is it your own?" The question stops me. Mine? The emergency of feeling needed, of having purpose through solving other people's problems. The truth of it settles in my chest. I've built my identity around being the fixer, the crisis manager. Without that role, who am I? I say slowly, I'm afraid of finding out who I am when I'm not saving everyone else. The next morning, I email Maria. I'd be honored to lead the Harrington acquisition. 3 months later, I'm standing at a podium at the annual Financial Services Conference, leading a panel on emerging market investments. My voice is steady, confident. The room is packed with industry leaders, and I feel a strange sense of belonging I never experienced in my own family. At the reception afterward, a man approaches with 2 glasses of champagne. Impressive panel, he says, offering me one. I especially liked your point about sustainable development funds. Thank you. I accept the glass, noticing his warm eyes and easy smile. Rowan Barnes, he introduces himself. Architectural Development Partners. Camille Collins, Westridge Investments. Our conversation flows easily about work, about design trends in financial districts, about our shared love of Italian espresso. Not once do we mention family drama or emergencies or obligations. It's just 2 professionals, connecting over mutual interests. When he asks for my card, I feel a flutter of interest that has nothing to do with needing to save him or fix his problems. He's successful, stable, my equal. That night in my apartment, I stare at his business card, realizing how much has changed. My old life is fading away, replaced by something I never thought possible: independence. Harrison calls less frequently now, and when he does, the conversations have shifted. How's work, Cammy? He asks, genuine interest in his voice. Good. Challenging, but good. I'm leading a major acquisition. That's wonderful. A pause. I started seeing someone. A therapist, I mean. The admission surprises me. That's great, Dad. Yeah, well, turns out I have some things to work through. Spencer's emails have stopped. Preston is radio silent. Eleonora remains a blocked number. The silence used to feel like punishment, like emptiness. Now it feels peaceful. As I place Rowan's card on my nightstand, I realize I'm no longer waiting for the next crisis call. I'm just living my life. And it's enough. The evening sun paints golden streaks across my penthouse windows. 2 years since that birthday dinner, and sometimes I still can't believe this view is mine. 40 floors up, the city sprawls beneath me, a constellation of lights beginning to twinkle as dusk settles. I trace my fingers along the granite countertop, savoring the cool smoothness against my skin. Photos from my life after the Collins family collapse line the walls, hiking through Tuscan hills, laughing with colleagues at my promotion celebration, evenings with genuine friends who expect nothing but my company. Rowan appears from the kitchen, champagne flutes in hand, his easy smile crinkling the corners of his eyes. To the new partner, he says, extending a glass toward me. I accept it with a smile that feels natural, effortless. Nothing like the strained expressions I manufactured for family gatherings. It still doesn't feel real sometimes. Which part? He asks, leaning against the window frame. The promotion? Or the life? Both, I admit. Remember my old studio apartment? Rowan nods. We'd met after I'd already begun reclaiming my life. But he's seen the photos, the cramped space where I'd lived, while sending thousands to my family. The contrast between then and now isn't just in square footage. It's in the lightness I carry. My phone buzzes on the counter. I glance down, surprised to see blocked call with a voicemail notification. Technology glitches sometimes. Eleanora's occasional attempts still break through. I pick up the phone and delete the voicemail without listening to it. Your mom again? Rowan asks, not needing details. Probably. I shrug, adding her newest number to my block list. The gesture takes seconds, requires no emotional energy. 2 years ago, each call would have triggered hours of anxiety. Rowan raises his glass. To us. To us, I echo, the words feeling right. Not family obligations or forced loyalty, but a choice. Us. Later, curled on the sofa with my journal, I find myself reflecting on my former addiction to being needed. Doctor. Croft had helped me see the pattern, how I measured my worth by how much I could give, how desperately I sought validation through sacrifice. Worth is inherent, not earned through financial support, I write. My value exists independent of utility to others. The boundaries I've built extend beyond family. Last week, I declined joining a client dinner without inventing an excuse. "I'm not available that evening," was enough. The simple power of no still occasionally surprises me. My retirement fund, decimated by the $30,000 withdrawal for Harrison's surgery and countless other emergencies, has been steadily rebuilding. Each automatic transfer is an investment in myself, something the old Camille would have found impossibly selfish. Dr. Croft's words from our final session echo, "You've done the work, Camille. The tools are yours now." Her graduation gift sits on my bookshelf, a small brass compass engraved with, "Find your own true north." It's become my touchstone. Tomorrow, Julian and his partner are coming for dinner. Our friendship survived the breakup and my transformation. He was right about my family all along, but never once said, "I told you so." Instead, he became part of the chosen family that replaced my biological one. At the office, I've started mentoring a young analyst, Emma. I recognize the signs immediately: the constant phone checks, the quiet anxiety, the way she apologized for taking personal days. When she mentioned liquidating investments to help her brother with just one more bailout, I didn't share my story. Instead, I connected her with resources on financial boundaries and emotional manipulation. Her grateful email afterward said simply, "No one's ever understood before." Harrison calls occasionally. His individual therapy has helped him establish some independence from Eleonora. Our conversations are respectful, focused on him and me, never on what I can provide. Spencer sends birthday texts. Preston remains distant, still unable to view me as anything but a resource that betrayed him. Eleonora remains unchanged, but her power over me has dissolved. Her manipulations are transparent now, almost comical in their predictability. Rowan joins me on the balcony as night falls completely. We discuss weekend plans, future dreams, conversations, unburdened by financial obligations to others. Freedom isn't about cutting ties, I say, watching the city lights shimmer below. It's about having the choice to set terms. His hand finds mine as I delete another blocked voicemail with my free thumb. The champagne catches the last golden light as I raise it. "To us," I say again, knowing now that us can include only those who bring value to my life, not those who extract it. The city sparkles below, a sea of possibilities stretching outward. For the first time, the future feels like an open road rather than a confined box. And I am finally, completely free to choose my own direction.